ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita. We have completed the study of the 18th verse, 18th shloka of the 7th chapter, and we were in the thick of a discussion where Sri Krishna wants to defend himself because he had said, of the 4 types of virtuous people, Udara Sarva Evete, of these 4, they are very noble, they are very devoted, and etc., etc. They have all the qualities of a devotee. But amongst these 4, the Jnani, the person who fits into the definition of the word Jnani, he is very close to me, very dear to me. So immediately we humans, according to our standard of thinking and understanding, we only think, is God also like partial, like any other human? He is more partial to Jnani and not so interested in the other 3, Artha, Jigyashu and Arthati. So he says, no, you don't misunderstand me. It is a matter of total saturation. And I will highlight this before I move on to the next shloka. Without this being clearly understood, you will not understand the seriousness with which Sri Krishna is saying so. It is the point of saturation. What is to be saturated? When we were students, children in school, at little, I wouldn't say primary, the higher secondary or so, we were taught in the chemistry demonstration class what is a saturated solution. The teacher takes a beaker full of plain, pure, clean water, drinkable. The water does not have any taste. It is tasteless, shapeless, odorless liquid. So he takes a little water in a beaker and asks us to taste that water. I say, yes, sir, it is tasteless. Then he teaches us to drop sugar crystals in that water and stir it with a glass stirrer. After a while he says, you taste it? Sir, it is sweet. Where are the sugar crystals? They are, sir, devoted, they are totally dissolved, and the sweetness of the sugar has been retained by water, and the tasteless water is becoming sweeter. And then he asked us to taste that water in the process of dissolving crystal sugars in that water. And then a time came that the water was so intensely sweet it appeared to be bitter. And then he showed us, demonstrated to us, that no sugar crystals are dissolving. He stops. He says, my dear child, this water is now totally saturated with sugar. That is why it is so extremely sweet, A, and B is it is unable to dissolve any sugar. There is no capacity left in the water to dissolve sugar. It is totally saturated. It is full of sugar through and through. There is no space left. This is known as saturated solution of sugar in water. Water has dissolved sugar and has saturated itself to such an extent it cannot dissolve anymore. There is no space left anymore. We call it saturated solution of sugar in water. This is what it is. Now, this is an example where all of us agree. Now, the process of exemplification, drishtanta and dashtantika, how it applies. This antahkarana, this personality of ours, this being, this psyche of ours, what we know as I am, this antahkarana of ours is being compared with a sugar, with being compared with water. And awareness of presence of God. God is in me and I am in Him. What is happening? I am thinking I have no separate existence. I am matured in God. And that thought process goes on. That is the process of what you think, so you become. The process of being and becoming has started. So, I am saturating the awareness of presence of divine in me. And I am being slowly and slowly divinized, getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, getting divinized and more divinized and more divinized. What is that concept? That means I am being slowly and slowly saturating myself with the awareness of presence of the divine. And ultimately, there's no space left with me. I am saturated with the awareness of the presence of God in me. Saturated solution of water in sugar, saturated situation of human personality, saturated by awareness of presence of God. This is the exemplification of the example. Now, in others, they remember God. Arthaha, who is in a very difficult situation, he finds he can get no help anywhere in this world. So he cries from the bottom of his heart, "O Lord God of the universe, do help me out." He is, for the time being, he's totally saturated with the awareness of divine. And as soon as he is salvaged, as soon as he comes out of it, it maybe he forgets God. And we know in great dire situation, we remember God. When the situation improves, we forget Him. So, that element of forgetfulness in our personality makes all the difference. One is totally saturated and the other is partially saturated and is not interested in total saturation. He is interested in getting rid of the present difficulty. Please try to understand human psychology. We very conveniently forget God when my problem is over. Whereas a jnani, he has now no escape route. He has totally saturated himself with God. He is in God, he is with God, he moves and lives and has his being along with the awareness of God. Nothing but God in his life. He is jnani. So, measuring the evolution of human personality from egocentricity to total divine-centric, there are grades. And according to the grades, one is Artha, one is Artharthi, one is Jigyashu, and one is Jnani. Please kindly keep in mind that I do exist after the jam is over, after the difficulty is over. I go back to square one again. I live an egocentric life without the awareness of the divine. And here, this man, Jnani, has saturated himself once for all to such an extent that he is always with God, in God, with God, interacting with the awareness of presence of God in this diverse universe. Now, dears, I'm sorry. Now, dears, with this description, with this comparison, we now understand Sri Krishna is being absolutely truthful, is being absolutely correct. He is being factual, a matter of fact, and he's saying what is a statement of fact, nothing more, nothing less. So in the 18th shloka, this is the inner suggestion. Udara sarva eva ete. They are all very nice, very noble, very glorious. I don't deny them because they, whatever the reason may be, they are aware of me partially. But jnani tu atmaiva me matam. Jnani has totally identified himself with me. His ego has merged into me. The Jiva Atma has merged with Paramahatma. There are so many beautiful examples. The Jiva is compared to Jivatma is compared to a flowing river. Whatever may be, ultimately the river water independently or being attributed to other river, the mass of water which is known as river merges with ocean and it cannot be retracted, retrieved, brought it back again. It is totally mixed up. Jnani is a person who is now totally saturated with the awareness of presence of the divine. So from another point of view, the other perspective of looking at it, Jnani has become one with me. Atmaiva iti me matam. I have to consider he has totally merged in me the Parramatta water, Parramatta river water has merged with the ocean. Not to be retracted again. It is irreversible mix-up. You can't bring it back again. This is an example. So, keeping that example in view, he's not been partial. He's been absolutely truthful. So that he's analyzing a situation based on facts. Jnani is a person who has so much saturated himself in me that his amness has merged into my amness. So he is inseparable from me. Jnani tu atmaiva me matam. This is my considered opinion. Don't say I am being partial. This is my considered opinion, considering the situation from all points of view. Jnani is one with me. Asthita hi juktatma. Asthita means he is poised. He is well seated. How? I am physically sitting in this chair, whereas spiritually he is well seated means he is well ensconced in the awareness of the majesty, regality, the excellence of my being. He is merged with that. Astita Sarva. He yuktatma mama eva anuttamam gati. Anuttama means excelling. Excelling in your choice of your goal of life. He has excelled. Why? He has chosen me as his last goal of life. This is how Sri Krishna justifies himself when he says, amongst them, Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Visheshrate in the 17th shloka. So don't say, my dear children, students of the Gita, that I am like any other human. I am partial. I am not partial. I am talking based on facts of life. Now, dear, he is playing with our psychology. What is the game plan? The game plan is all of us would like to be the best. All of us. And Sri Krishna says, Jnani is the best. So, in us, the desire to be beloved by Krishna, to be totally one with Krishna, that desire arises. So he is taking help of this desire in you. Oh, how I wish I could be a Jnani. How I wish I could raise my level of awareness to that level of a Jnani, who is Nitya Yukta Eka Bhakti, who is Yukta Atma, who is Anuttamam Gatim Asthita. He has excelled all situations and is in the supreme, sublime, excellent position from where he doesn't come back again. Punaravartanti bhuyo. Having reached that, you don't come back again. You have merged with God. So, we would like to be that. This is how Sri Krishna, instead of being partial, look at his point of view. He's trying to inspire you. He's trying to incite you, to motivate you to fall into the category of Jnani. This is it. That is up to the 19th shloka. How can I achieve that, sir? How long will it take? What have I to do? These are the questions now in my mind. Because I want to be so. Therefore, how long will it take? What do I have to do? And when shall I reach? How long will it take? When shall I reach? These are common questions. You know, this type of discussion, this Gita follows a pattern of discussion. That is, Prashna Garbha Uttara. He gives you a solution, gives you an answer to your previous question, but the answer has an inbuilt question in it, so that the sequence of thinking goes ahead. Prashna Garbha Uttara. That is, he has given you an answer, but that answer is impregnated with these questions. Is that so, sir? Gyani is the best, and according to your opinion, you and Gyani, they are no different entities. You are the same. Sir, can I reach there? If so, what I have to do? And if I do, how long will it take? These questions are hidden in that answer. And that is how the sequence follows. Right from the first shloka of the Gita to the last verse of the Gita, shloka of the Gita, it is interconnected with Prashnatmaka Uttara, Prashna Garbha Uttara. It is impregnated in it. So as soon as you study the 19th shloka in proper detail and in depth, then an ordinary human can be a Gyani, and being a Gyani, he is Nitya Jukta, Eka Bhakti, Juktatma, and Asthita, Anuttamam Gatim Asthita. That is the considered opinion of God, Krishna. I listen. How I wish I could be there. How I wish I could be like that. To reach there, what I have to do? I want to reach there. What I have to do to reach there? How do I go about it? That is my question. He has given an answer. The answer is such, a question arises in my mind. The next shloka, 20th shloka, answers that question. And while answering that question, you will find some other questions arise in your mind. And he goes to the next shloka. Now let us read the 19th shloka. How long will it take, sir? I have decided. I will walk the way you want me to walk. Good enough, I have decided. How long will it take, sir? My lifespan is small. How long will it take? Now listen carefully. The 19th shloka. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. This is the first line of the shloka. Let us break it up into two parts. Generally, these shlokas should be broken up into 4 equal parts. Bahunam janmananante. A. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. B. Vasudevam sarvamiti. C. Sa mahatma sudurlava. D. 4 quarters. 2 lines divide into 4 parts, 4 quarters of a verse. First answer. Bahunam janmanan ante. Bahunan, many, many, many. Plural, many, many, many. Janmanam, births. Ante, after you have covered many, many, many births, you become a jnani and then you take shelter under my care and guidance. Then you take total shelter under me. When? After many, many lives of putting your genuine effort. That's one. Acha, and I do so, and I take shelter under you. I worship you, I hold on to you, I take shelter unto you. Prapadyate, good enough. What happens to me then? Vasudevam sarvamiti. You will see me, this Krishna, in this form. Vasudeva Putra Vasudeva Krishna. That is, Vasudeva is the father, his son is known as Vasudeva Krishna, and you will see me everywhere. Such a realized soul is sudurlabha, is extremely rare to find out in this world. But avatars, they have displayed this. God displays this quality as a human form. When He is in a human form, He displays these qualities and He convinces you it is possible. I will give you now examples. It is said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, an avatar in his right, an incarnation of the divine, about 500 years ago, no more than that, it will be nearly 700. Guru Maharaj is 150 now, so it's about 500, 700, 600 years ago. I am not very sure. Anyway, he was an incarnation, and it is incarnation's duty to rehabilitate in this world by actual demonstration the subtleties of spiritual achievements, to re-establish the lost veracity, the lost credibility, the lost relevance of spiritual truths. That is why Avatar is born. What do we find in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life? Few hundred years ago in Bengal. What do we see? That when he was very mature and before it was time for him to depart, he could not say no to anybody. So what happens? The riffraffs of the society, the lepers of the society, who are being kicked around by the society as not required, such riffraffs and rejects came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please give us shelter, please give us shelter. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with wide open arms, used to embrace them, hug them, and ask the leaders to give them shelter. Now the four of the topmost disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has started this Sri Gauriya Math, they were scared. They were ordinary humans. Why were they scared? They were scared that these social riffraffs, if they're found in our organization later on, when Gauranga Mahaprabhu is not there, the society will reject us because we are sheltering such people. So they thought, for the future excellence of this organization, the Gauriya Math that they were planning to establish, based on the life and teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 4 of them together, in an appeal. What was that appeal? Sir, you stop taking these riffraffs in your group. It will ruin our organization, which we want to start after you are no more. I'm sorry. You know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to say? Look at this, listen to this. It is his own words. He says, what can I do, my dears? Where do I go? What can I do? Jatra jatra netra pade. Jatra jatra means wherever and wherever my eyes fall. That is, whatever and whatever becomes an object of my vision, tatra tatra, then and there. Wherever and wherever, then and there. Jatra jatra, tatra tatra. Krishna's Pure. I see nothing else. That form changes into Krishna's form. This is the state in which I live. How can I discriminate now between good and evil? Please don't ask me to change. I can't change myself. I am like that. So please kindly remember these 4 words. Jatra jatra netra pade, wherever and wherever my eyes fall, tatra tatra Krishna's Pure. I see visibly Sri Krishna in his divine form manifesting in that form. The human form disappears, I see Krishna there. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, we find Sri Ramakrishna saying, oh, those wonderful days I have gone through, my dears, I now recount with great joy that wherever I lived in this world, I saw Brahman. Like a peeping Tom, Brahman is playing hide and seek with me. Brahma, uki jhuki mache. Uki jhuki means like a peeping Tom. Hey, shows a face, hides again. Goes there, shows a face, hides again. Brahman appeared to me wherever my eyes fell. And Sri Krishna says, Sa Mahatma, such a grand personality, such a super excellent personality is very rare to find. What does it mean? I will tell you what it means. You have heard about saturated solution of sugar. Now go ahead. It was in our chemistry classes how demonstrator explained to us what is supersaturation. What is that? He says that saturated solution of sugar in water, it is in a beaker. Put the beaker on a Bunsen burner. Let it boil. Add sugar. The sugar did not dissolve. Add further sugar, it will dissolve. Then you leave a crystal sugar in the solution and a piece of thread there. Come what happens tomorrow morning. I go back tomorrow morning, and I've seen that in our classes. What happens? Plenty of sugar crystals sticking on that thread. You pick it up, it's hanging there. Pure sugar, through the process of this saturation, has crystallized again. Those crystals cannot change their faces. Your personality, after the awareness of presence of the divine, you go further. From Jnani you become Vijnani. And this world with all its diversities, the diversity disappears. The unity comes on the fore. Unity in the form of Ishta, in which you have practiced your spiritual discipline. If it is only presence of the divine, the presence will be paramount. If it is a name and form of your Ishtadev, that will be paramount. That is Vijnani's avastha. Man who has super saturated himself in the awareness of presence of the divine in him. He does not exist at all. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudevam sarvamiti, in form, Vasudeva Putra, Vasudeva Krishna, in the form of Krishna, the real form, not an artist's imagination. You'll have that vision of real Krishna as he was born in Dwapara. And you will be absolutely absorbed in him. Such an excellent person is very, very rare to be found. And you know what happens? They don't expose themselves. They would never say to you, I have achieved that, because their I does not exist. So they can't say that. They experience that they can't describe that. They are one with the divine. Now, dears, this is the meaning of the shloka. Information, education. What is the instruction here? He says two things. Bahunam janmanam ante. It will take you several births to qualify yourself to be counted in the group of Jnanis. And even when you are a Jnani, you will have to take shelter under me till you achieve this goal of seeing me in this name, in this form, wherever your eyes fall. Just to clarify a little, please kindly give me a little liberty. This is Dvaita Bhava or Dvaita Avastha. In the Vijnanis, what happens? I see my Ishtadev and Ishtadevi everywhere. What happens to a Vedanti who wants to go beyond name and form? Listen to what Gaudapada has to say. You have heard just now what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to say. Listen to what Gaudapada has to say. Gaudapada Acharya was Adi Guru of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya's Guru was Govindapad, his Guru was Gaudapada. And he wrote a treatise on Mandukya Karika known as Mandukya Karika. Mandukya Upanishad as Mandukya Karika. He describes he who has been practicing the awareness of presence of God, the presence, satta, awareness, chetana. I don't see any form. I see he is in me. What is his Vijnani's avastha? Here Krishna says, Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. He sees Vasudeva Krishna wherever his eyes fall, as Gauranga Mahaprabhu mentioned, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has mentioned. Gaudapada says, if you are beyond a name and form, that is the practice, the discipline that you have started. Where do you go? Deha abhimane galite vigyate param atmani yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra param padam drishyate. I'll translate it for you. Deha abhimane galite. I am contained in this body-mind complex. This idea, this concept has totally melted away, evaporated. I am the Atman. I am what I am. I am Sat Sarup. I am Chit Sarup. I am Ananda Sarup Atma. That is what I am. Deha abhimane galite. What you are not. And what are you? Abhede param atmani. Vigyate param atmani. You have been aware of the concept of Paramatman, the Brahman. The Jivatman has merged into Paramatman. What happens to you then? Yatra yatra mano jati. Allow your mind to roam around. Let it roam around the whole world. Wherever and wherever it goes. Tatra tatra param padam drishyate. I am aware of myself everywhere. Nothing but unity in eternal diversity. This is what happens to an Advaita sadhaka. And this is what happens to Advaita sadhaka. They reach the same goal with name and form, without name and form. Sa Mahatma, such an excellent person, such a super excellent being, is extremely rare to be found about humans in the human society. This is the meaning. Now, let us go into the instructive part of it. In the Mundaka Upanishad studies the other day, I said that you slowly and slowly and slowly build up the awareness of presence of God within yourself. You are 0% saturated. You are not at all aware of God. You start cultivating the awareness of presence of God within you, and you try to remind yourself all the time. Don't allow forgetfulness to get hold of you. You keep on holding on to the idea, I am, the divine is, and I am in the divine. I have no separate existence. Let us be honest. During 1 hour of meditative life, when I sit for my meditation, away from it all, I start. I make a wonderful start, and after a while, I find all sorts of worldly thoughts invade into me. It's a fact of life. Let us analyze why it is happening. Knowledge is power. Once I know why it is happening, I can control it. It's a fact of life. It's an experience in our day-to-day life. That experience applies here also. Why does it happen? Now pay a little attention how the human psyche keeps on working within itself. Now, let me make this as an example. What is it? I am absolutely honest and sincere with you. I'm making myself an example, dear. Please don't misunderstand me. I am honest and sincere with you, and I'm trying my very best that whatever I have understood and experienced about these things, I share it with you. Now, this is a karma, this is an activity, physically, emotionally, rationally, and the individual is also involved. The four aspects of my personality is totally involved, including myself. More intense the involvement, more intense the result of this involvement. And what is a samskar? To each and every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's a Newtonian law, applicable to the world. But this manaha is also a matter, subtle form of matter. What happens? I am intensely involved with my seriousness, sincerity, and dedication to explain to you whatever I had understood, understand, to pass it on to you. My involvement is there. The deeper the involvement in the action, the result of that action, karma, the karma phala is equally intense, equal and opposite reaction. So what happens, dear? I sit for meditation and I think of the presence of the divine in me, and I am told, don't think of the absolute, think of Ishtadev, who is in a particular form, has a name, form, quality, utility and value in my life. Good enough? I do so. And I am concentrated. Slowly and slowly, my level of concentration disappears, diminishes. My level of concentration diminishes. There is other acts and deeds which I have done before, other acts and deeds which I have done before, with great involvement, with great intensity. Here, my intensity of remembering God is diminishing. In the meantime, any work done before with a deeper intensity, that force is coming up on the surface. And that force dominates on this force and it enters into your orbit of thinking. That is why what happens is you are thinking of the divine, slowly and slowly the intensity is diminishing, and another intense activity which you have done in this world, the force of that samskara has come up. And that samskara elbows out this one, and it sits there. Deviation of thought processes takes place. This is why in meditative period, other ideas encroach into you without your permission. That is why Hari Maharaj Suryananda ji used to say that when you sit for your meditation, put a billboard on your forehead. No admission without permission. I am not going to entertain any other thinking but the thinking of God. If it intrudes, pay no attention, neglect. Make it prove you are not wanted here. As you do, somebody knocks at your door and he is an unwanted guest. You don't want him in. You shut the door in front of him. Or you say you are not wanted. No argument. You may lose your point. Don't argue. Shut the door. No admission without permission. Now, to achieve that takes a long period of time. Why? Because you do not know how many billions, quadrillions, much more than that, samskaras are in you because of your past lives. Past godless lives and with God life. Because nobody is totally godless. Even in Artha Avastha we cry for God. So what happens is, it is a tug of war amongst the samskaras who will win. One counter where the ticket is being sold by a very popular circus, and there are a crowd on that window. They don't follow queue system. Each one is trying to put his hand into that counter to get a ticket. Whosoever is strongest moves the other, puts his hand in. And the strong man next to him takes advantage of him. The other one, till another person elbows him out and puts his hand in. This is the plan going in our life. Samskaras fighting with each other, and whoever is strongest comes to the fore. This is fact of life, statement of facts of spiritual life. Have no doubt about it and have the moral courage to admit it. This is what is happening in us. And it is not this life, many lives before. I don't know when and why and how. That is why the Jataka stories of Buddhism are so popular. Every time a person sacrificed his selfish interest for the sake of the other. After 100 times, he was born as Buddha. Shakyamuni converted himself Buddha. Buddha is not a pronoun, proper noun. Buddha is a name of an achievement. Christ is a name of an achievement. Jesus was his name. Christ is a name of that achievement. Shakyamuni was his name. Bodhitva gave him the name Buddha. Here we call them Jivanamukta, free from their bondage in life. So, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. It is a very important lesson in formation and education. And once you are well educated and you know what is what, managing it becomes easy. How do you manage? You have that faculty known as willpower. So, you see, this idea is coming in. Don't wrestle with it. Don't fight with it. You are definitely lose because it is stronger than your willpower. That is why it has entered. You hold on to God. Oh God, something disturbing happening to me. Please kindly protect me. Please, oh God, protect me. And you will find awareness of presence of God dawns into you again. You are giving a greater push to your sanskara so that the other sanskara diminishes in its strength, moves away. This is the game plan. And do this for lives together. Every life, your balance sheet shows a bit of a profit. Awareness of the presence of God is increasing in proportion. And ultimately, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many, many, many lives, you have saturated yourself with the divine. And with that saturation point, you take shelter unto Him and you try to reach that super excellent position of being one with God in totality. And what is the description of that totality? Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. My Ishtadev, Vasudeva, Krishna is everywhere. You have achieved that position of Jatra, Jatra, Netra Pade, wherever and wherever your eyes happen to fall. That is, whatever is the object of your vision, it loses its name, loses its form. It is replaced by the name and form of my Ishtadev. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. To achieve that goal, Sri Krishna is not mincing matters. He is not giving you false hopes. He says, I demand back-breaking, steadfast, sweating out from you, hard work from you. Manage your personality and transform it from egocentric to divine-centric. And one of the scriptures, it gives you an impossible example. You take the mass of water of Ganga entering the Bay of Bengal in Ganga Sagara, take that and go back to Gangotri. Can you do that? You can take a kamandalu of water and walk to Gangotri. That you can do. And it is done. It is one of the parts of the spiritual discipline. You go and attend the Ganga Sagara Mela, take a kamandalu of water from there, and now you walk upward. And pour that Ganga water when Ganga comes out of Gomukh there. There is a Shivalinga there, you pour it out. You have carried the Ganga water from the estuary to its starting point. As impossible as that, and you can do the impossible, make the impossible possible in your life by following these procedures. So this is it, dear, and mind you, it is informative, it is educative, it is instructive, it is descriptive, all four boiled into one. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that is descriptive. So dears, we have covered the 19th shloka. We may revise it for a short while next day and move on to the next. I'll give you a little prior information of what the next shlokas are. We have completed 19. The total number of shlokas of this chapter is 30. So another 11 or 12 are left. What Sri Krishna would say is, He will not dishearten you. He will not disparage you. He will not think small of you or bad of you. He says, you are desirous of something. It is said, Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. If I can worship and satisfy her, she will give us her blessings and I'll be wealthy. He says, go ahead. Fulfill that desire of your wealth. And you will find it is also transitory. slowly and slowly, exploring all avenues that the world can lay out for you. Walk that walk. Walk open-eyed. Don't be blind. And keep your discretion sharp. Viveka buddhi. Sense of discretion, discrimination. Is it real or unreal? But the goddess Lakshmi, satisfied with your prayer, will give you enormous wealth. Keep your eyes and ears open. Viveka buddhi. And you see, I was a millionaire. Because of my greed, I invested in the stock exchange, and today I am a pauper. This is all wealth is. What shall I do with such a wealth? Walk the walk of all the definite walks that you have in this world. Gather experience. And then, alam pratyayabana bhavati. Enough is enough. Alam pratyavan, translated English, means I am convinced enough is enough. Pratyavan means conviction, rock solid, crystal clear conviction. I've had enough of enough. The following shlokas, Sri Krishna will say, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Ultimately you will realize the ultimate goal is to take shelter in me and me alone. All the riches, all the temptations of the world, you will develop alam pratyayavan. You will develop that attitude, enough is enough. I'm tired of this unending farce. So this is what is waiting for you in the remaining 12 shlokas. Thank you, dears. Thank you. May God bless us all. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.